Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am Ihab Basha from Expanded Program on Immunization, Ministry of Health and Population, Egypt. I will present about the evaluation of the pilot stage for the national plan of hepatitis B first dose in the national immunization system in Egypt between August and December 2016. Egypt has introduced 3 doses of vaccine against hepatitis B at 2, 4, and 6 months of age since 1992. High coverage of these 3 doses, really with other interventions, led to decrease in prevalence of hepatitis B in Egypt to 1% according to Health Issue Survey in 2015. In 2014, and as a pillar of the national plan for hepatitis viruses elimination in Egypt, there was a plan to introduce a new dose of hepatitis B during the first 24 hours after birth. This dose was called hepatitis B first dose. Hepatitis B first dose is important to decrease the incidence of perinatal transmission from hepatitis B positive mother to infant during labor. Our plan included the implementation of this vaccination through 9 phases. The pilot stage included the implementation of the new vaccine in 8 governorates of Egypt. Evaluation of the pilot stage, not only here, but any pilot stage in any plan is very important in order to identify gaps and to take any needed corrective actions before nationwide implementation. Our objectives were to estimate the field coverage of hepatitis B first dose on governorate level, to identify causes of being on vaccination according to parents' point of view, to find if there is association between potential risk factors and the vaccination status of the child, and to identify the knowledge of the parents about the new dose, to evaluate the social mobilization plan of our introduction plan. Our methodology, it's a cross-sectional study. It's a household vaccination coverage survey. Data were collected using questionnaire. This questionnaire was of 2 parts. The first part included answers about parents of the child, about some information, to collect some information about the child, some socio-economical information about the family, the educational status of the family, and their knowledge about the plan, and if they didn't vaccinate their child, why didn't they vaccinate their child. The second part was a review for registers at 2 places. The first place is the place of delivery. The second is the primary health care unit, in order to check the vaccination status of the child. Our inclusion criteria were any child who was born in this governorate under survey during the last 5 months before the survey. Data collection was through independent monitors who don't work for vaccination or EPI activities. Total sample was 1,760 child. Each governorate sample was 220 a child. Our sampling technique, as we need to estimate the field coverage on governorate level, was disproportionate, stratified, multi-stage cluster sample. And the sampling technique inside each cluster was quota technique, as each cluster is of 10 children. Our data collector, as we said, were independent. And each governorate was given a weight according to the percent of its annual purse to the total purse of the 8 governorates. Here we can find the hepatitis B per dose field coverage. The estimate was 92% with confidence intervals between 87 and 95. And we can find that the administrative coverage reported from the 8 governorates at the same time of survey was 88%. So we can find and notice that the administrative coverage lays between the 2 confidence interval of the estimated coverage. About the governorate vaccination coverage for hepatitis B per dose, the highest governorate was El Fayoum with coverage 95%, as we can see, and Alexandria was the lowest, was with 79% coverage. Between urban and rural areas, we can find, by the way, each governorate, the clusters of each governorate, the 22 clusters, some were at urban areas and some were at rural areas. So we can find that the vaccination coverage of the urban areas was estimated to be 93%, and at rural area it was 92%. About the parents' knowledge of the new dose, 55% of parents knew about the new vaccine before the delivery of their child, and 35% knew about the vaccine after the delivery of their child, while only 10% who don't know anything about the vaccine at the time of survey. Here we can see the main sources of parents' knowledge about hepatitis B per dose, and we can find it or show it on Pareto diagram. Here we can find that the vital few sources of parents' knowledge were health team at different places, at private sector, at health units, at governmental hospital. And the last vital few was the relatives. And we know that relative is a secondary source for knowledge. While other, like street signboards and stickers at different places, were among trivial many, while it was main pillars of the social mobilization plan during our planning. About the causes of non-vaccination, about the causes of non-vaccination, 74% of the children who weren't vaccinated was because the parents didn't know about the vaccine. Here we can see the results for logistic regression done between the vaccination status as an outcome and potential risk factors. There were 2 significant risk factors for the associated with the vaccination status, which were the first was the mother status of information during the antenatal care, while the second was the place of delivery. We may conclude that there is vaccination equity between different places, between urban and rural areas, and between different governorates of the 8 governorates under survey. Also, we may conclude that hepatitis B per dose administrative coverage is valid, as it is enter the confidence interval of the estimated coverage. Parents' knowledge, or percent of parents who knew about the vaccine and mother who were educated during the antenatal care about the new vaccine was less than target in our plan. Our recommendations are advocacy meeting with physician, and it has been already done, and a special plan for private sector, and it has been already done also, and to add the message during the antenatal care about the importance of hepatitis B per dose, and it also the 3 recommendations were already done. Thank you for everyone who helped us. A lot of teams helped us in the 8 governorates. Thank you for our leaders in the Ministry of Health. Thank you for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for such an interesting presentation. Nisaf?
Thank you very much for this excellent presentation and this very well done research activity. I would like to ask about the sample size calculation and if you have adjusted your results according to the sample design to the sample design. The sample design.
Sample design, yes.
And I am not sure if you have mentioned the confidence interval of your estimation, because you in the table I was guessing if it is the confidence interval or not. Yes, here. Yes, LCL, I guess I was guessing that it is confidence interval. Thank you.
Thank you very much. About the sampling calculation, first, we choose non-proportionate technique, non-proportionate stratification, because we want to estimate result by governorates. So when we want to estimate results by governorates, we calculate sample size for each governorate, and then we make weight, and this is what we have already done. We made the weight for each governorate according to the percent of persons in this governorate to the total persons. About the design technique, we made in our calculation design factor 2.5. Why 2.5? This is dependent on intra-cluster correlation 1/3. From where 1/3? From the WHO, there is recommendation from the WHO that ICC or intra-cluster correlation used in household vaccination coverage survey is 1/3. So we calculated it as 1/3, and the cluster size is 10, so the design factor is 2.5. Okay.
There's another question there. Second row. And then, okay.
Nice presentation. Within clusters, how did you select the 10?
Yes.
Was it SRS or again a stratified? And how many home deliveries were there? Like
Yes.
you told, because informed mother was significant, and then the place of delivery were significant factors. So I was wondering if it was stratified based on the home deliveries. Suppose some home deliveries has happened.
You mean how did I choose clusters?
That
yes?
is one question. Another one is how many home deliveries were there?
How many what?
Home deliveries. Deliveries at home.
Yes. How many
What's that?
home were
Deliveries.
chosen during the sampling?
Yes, deliveries that happen at house.
Home deliveries, yes. Okay. Thank you for your question. About the first one, how did we choose cluster? It was somewhat very complicated technique, because we first, in each governorate, we have 22 clusters. These clusters were proportionate. In governorate level, it was disproportionate stratification. But in each governorate, the 22 clusters were proportionately stratified between different districts. Then each district, for example, this district is, its weight is of 5 clusters. So then we calculate the weight of cluster. The weight of cluster for how many persons? For example, for 1,000 persons. So we take in this district, how many health offices, which is the level under the district in Egypt, to know this, for example, 5 health offices are the weight of 1 cluster. Then we choose by simple random sampling the place of cluster, and then inside the cluster, according to our coordinates, we choose the starting point, also by simple random sample. Clear? About the home deliveries, here it's a household survey. So in this household survey, the sample, we had those who were born at home, who were born at governmental hospitals, at private hospitals. But if we look at the logistic regression here, about the place of delivery, it was taken as a dummy variable. So the program, EPINFO, make a comparison between each place of delivery and the lowest place of delivery which was associated to the vaccination status. So really, those who were born at home were less in vaccination coverage than those who were born in governmental hospitals.
If you try to be shorter, we have only one remaining question there.
Okay.
I think that he answered my question. I wanted to ask, يعني where are you giving the vaccination, at home or at hospital?
Yes.
At household.
At first, the highest was at governmental hospital because the vaccine is provided for free. Then those who were born at private hospital were the second stage, and the lowest who were born at home.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.